Do you ever wonder why you hear so many organizations talking nowadays about partnerships as a way to achieve their mission? In this clip, I'd like to tell you more about collaboration between different stakeholders to solve complex problems of our time. If you watch the news, you'd easily conclude that people are arguing all the time and that humans are always in conflict. In fact, it's quite the opposite. Most people are working together most of the time. We would not be able to live together if our species were not so skilled at collaboration. I come from the Netherlands, a country of which 1/4 of the land is below sea level. The sea is not always our friend. Since the Middle Ages, the threat of floods required collaboration. Both enemy and friend needed to work together in order to maintain the dikes and the pump mills. They would just interrupt the fighting and make a dike that protected everyone. This taught the Dutch to set aside differences for a greater purpose. Whether you were government, citizen or business, because of this common threat of flooding, all people worked together to try to find solutions to keep our polders dry. And we even invented a word for it, to polder. It is not unique to the Netherlands though. There are many similar stories from all over the world. We live in times where the call for collaboration for addressing sustainability and development challenges is stronger than ever. Academics increasingly agree that these issues are so complex that not one stakeholder alone can solve it. Think of issues like the climate crisis or fighting malnutrition and hunger. A stakeholder is different than a shareholder. It is about anyone able to affect or who is affected by an issue. Basically, if there is a decision coming up about an issue that you care about, you'd like to be involved, not? Multi Stakeholder Partnerships, or MSPs as we call them, are a preferred strategy for dealing with the challenges of sustainable development and reaching the Sustainable Development Goals. Here is the definition: a cooperation arrangement between a variety of actors that jointly engage in a process of dialogue and action to solve a specific problem. Remember, you don't need to agree on everything in order to collaborate. You can work together respectful of your different interests. The trend towards more partnering is undeniable. Companies are teaming up with governments, farmers and consumers to set standards for agricultural value chains. Governments are joining with NGOs and businesses to tackle child labor. And civic organizations have been forging broad coalitions to ban, for example, landmines. We're also seeing an increase in partnership platforms, whose main goal it is to catalyze new partnerships. These MSPs happen at all scales, from very informal and local, for example, a group of farmers experimenting with vegetable seeds that can resist drought, together with scientists, agribusinesses and government extension workers. But we also see global level, more formalized engagement processes, such as the Committee on Food Security, the CFS, in Rome, a multi-stakeholder body which negotiates ways to end malnutrition and promote healthy diets worldwide. We also see MSPs being formed for very, very different purposes. Sometimes to mediate a conflict that prevents stakeholders to tackle an issue together. Sometimes it's around solving a problem, let's say in a value chain. And finally, we also see MSPs that talk more about innovation and synergies, usually private sector driven. Despite this enthusiasm, we shouldn't be naive. Getting people to work together towards common goals is never easy. Partnerships can be difficult when there are strong competing interests and power differentials at work. And not to mention that people often don't speak each other's language, that is, organizationally and culturally. And that many people nowadays do not trust institutions and science like they used to do. It is not as simple as just sticking people in a room and hoping for the best. As a result, we see a lot of partnerships struggle or even collapse prematurely. And surely, sometimes an MSP is not the best solution to your problem. Then try something else. The question, therefore, is not whether the idea of partnerships is good or bad, but what types of partnerships are most promising. How can MSPs be designed and facilitated to deliver the change that we're looking for? What conditions do they require in order to be effective? Our message in this book, called The MSP Guide, is that MSPs don't just happen. They need to be designed and facilitated. If done well, MSPs can be a powerful governance mechanism for shared decision-making and co-creation of innovation. This MSP guide shows 7 principles that make MSPs effective and shows you how you can apply them.